Teams, Oldham first. Number 1, Duncan Platt. Number 2, Paul Lord. Number 3, Sean Allen, on loan from St Helens. Number 4, Charlie McAllister. Number 5, Steve Robinson. 6, back after injury, Michael Ford. 7, Ian Bates. 8, Ian Sherratt. 9, Andy Ruane. 10, Leo Casey. 11, Keith Newton. 12, Paul Round. 13, John Cogger. And subs Trevor Crost and Neil Clawson. Featherstone, Chris Bibb at 1. 2, Ian Smales. 3, Paul Newlove. 4, Alan Banks. 5, Paul Hughes. 6, Martin Pearson, a 17-year-old. 7, Derek Fox. 8, Jeff Gratian. 9, Trevor Clark. 10, Glenn Bell. 11, Carl Harrison. 12, Chris Burton. 13, the evergreen Peter Smith. And subs 14, Nigel Barker. And 15, John Bastian. As referee Steve Cross gets the game underway. Fullback Bibb. Last season played with a distinctive headgear. Today, just hair. Oldham penalised for offside. Fox running round Gratian. Straight ball. Glenn Bell, one of the 2 Kiwis in the front row. The other one attacking half-back. The run round, or dummy run round, with Jeff Gratian. Snuffed out by the Oldham defence. Fox inside to Smith. Smith. Keith Newton back in the team after missing Wednesdays. Unfortunate game, quick ball out to Winger Hughes, who is more normally found in the back row. Fox going to put the kick in. Crossfield, Paul Lord covering. Gets an awkward bounce. As Alan Banks stands off him. High tackle. On Sean Allen on his first touch for Oldham. The tap quickly on with it through Leo Casey. Casey held up by Burton. Michael Ford. Keith Newton. Taken by Hooker Clark. Michael Ford kicking for position. And finds a good touch. Backline standing very flat. Oldham get a penalty for Featherstone not going down. Seems to be the way referees are penalising these days. Seems to be quite common among most of them. Andy Ruane puts the ball to touch. Now, Ian Sherratt. Paul Round. Fighting his way. And just pushed back at the last. Ruane attacked in half-back. Looking to dummy. Back to Leo Casey. Casey for the line. And a roar from the crowd says it's all. Leo Casey's in for his 6th try of the season. After about 3.5 minutes, forcing his way over to put Oldham into a 4 points to 0 lead after 4 minutes play. And the wind stopped blowing. Drills it down to try scorer Leo Casey, placed off his legs. Paul Lord comes inside, but Casey takes the responsibility himself. Drives out the 25, John Cogger. Back with the more familiar number 13 on his shirt. Kick coming in early from Duncan Platt. Only second tackle. Trying to pull Chris Bibb across, which he does. And he knocks on. Outside the Featherstone 25. Scrums goes down, ball in and out. Allen. Ian Bates adds his weight to keep him up. Bates from acting half-back. Knocked back by Harrison. And Fox completes the tackle. Ruane coming round Ford. Round going straight. In fact, a superb dummy from Andy Ruane. And then putting a good pass out to Keith Newton. who goes in about 10 yards to the left-hand side of the post for his third try of the season to push Oldham into an 8-0 lead with just 6 minutes gone. Fine break from Andy Ruane. Sold everybody on the field, I think, the dummy. At least everybody in blue and white. As Duncan Platt kicks his 27th goal of the season, which he does behind Steve Robinson. Bouncer's dead, Steve Robinson picks up. Taken by Smith. Michael Ford attacking half-back. Duncan Platt taking the first drive. As far as Bell. Ian Sherratt lopes up. Andy Ruane making yards on an initial dummy and just unable to link. John Cogger from acting half-back. I'll be surprised if he's got his head left on after that. Referee Cross calling out Chris Burton for at least a talking to. After John Cogger's back on his feet, Derek Fox as captain comes with him. And indeed he has, he's sent him off. So after 14 minutes play, Featherstone down to 12 players. Andy Ruane to Ian Sherratt. Sherratt. Casey on the next drive. Not back, just about at the gain line. Switch to Paul Round. Grabbed and hung on to by Trevor Clark. Cogger from acting half-back. And Cogger's in under the post. Cogger's quick reaction from acting half-back. Spotted a gap. And you can see the Featherstone players falling out with each other behind the post. Derek Fox having strong words to say. John Cogger's quick reactions bring, after 15 minutes of his first half, his first try in an Oldham shirt, and push the Oldham lead to 14-0 with a goal to come. What should be a relatively easy goal for Duncan Platt, which it is. Lord to Ruane. Out to Paul Round. Good pass to Duncan Platt. Steve Robinson. Inside Charlie McAllister. Took the pass behind him and the tackle. Platt out to Andy Ruane. Paul Round. Round takes his own catch and gives John Cogger a run. Cogger back to Ian Bates. Bates weaving, bobbing. And pulled down about 10 yards short. Cogger from acting half-back. Looking for a link. Duncan Platt slips. And Harrison comes away with it. Paul Round. Duncan Platt get back to pull him down on the 25-yard line. Smith. Caught by Casey and Newton. Clark to Fox. To Bell. Fox again. Pulled round by Paul Round. Looking a lot fitter. Totally recovered. Jeff Gratian fires a pass out. And there's one or two desperation passes coming in from Featherstone at the moment. With a link. Newlove. Platt waits for him. And the final of the ball ends up in Mike Ford's hands. Ripped out. Mike Smith. Paul Hughes chased by Leo Casey for the corner. Casey decides he's got to keep him wide. Apparently playing very well this year. Right-footed. And it's the outside of the right-hand post. Jeff Gratian, and last to arrive at the scrum. Ian Bates scuttles away, trying to make use of the fact that there's no loose forward in for Featherstone, with them only having 12 players on. Ford to Round. Paul Round accelerates. Fights his way over the 25. Leo Casey accelerates and makes good yardage. Ruane to Mike Ford. To Sherratt. Good tackle from Peter Smith on Ian Sherratt. Ruane to Sean Allen. Allen brought in Andy Ruane. And the referee wipes that as well. So it's 6 more tackles to Oldham. Ford to Bates, to Paul Round, who spots a gap and heads for it. And gives the ball back to John Cogger. Cogger going very direct. Over Ian Bates' shoulder. Duncan Platt unable to take it. So it ends up in Featherstone hands. Bell. Hughes in off his wing again. Finally, it's Ian Bates who hangs on and others knock him down. Fox to Smith, coming round to Harrison. Back to Fox again. Fox going straight. Ford coming over. Surprisingly, Fox never looking for a pass as Mike Ford came over to tackle him. Smith to Gratian. Chris Bibb up from fullback. Dances away. Bibb going for the right-hand corner. Inside to Hughes, who goes over the line. Pushes it out to the right of the post. And again it's the right-hand post. The scrums go down just about. Bates to Ford. To Duncan Platt. Well, just over a minute to half-time. Ford, Bates to Paul Round. Caught on the 25-yard line as John Cogger gets to acting half-back. Dummies to pass. Bobs and weaves, but only really crossfield on that occasion. Ian Sherratt. Ian Sherratt still going. Ian Sherratt to John Cogger. Fine play from Ian Sherratt. Rolling off players. And John Cogger supporting well to put Oldham into a 20 points to 8 lead. Just about on the hooter. John Cogger in his 3rd match in Oldham colours. Scores his 2nd try of the day. Left-footed, pushes the ball through the uprights to put Oldham into a 22 points to 8. Fox restarts. Down to Paul Lord, who comes forward, takes well, spins round. Up to Derek Fox, who tackles him on the 25. John Cogger attacked in half-back and a feed Leo Casey. I'm sure Oldham will just run it in for 2 or 3 and put a kick in. Mike Ford, Keith Newton, tackled by Peter Smith. Andy Ruane already putting the kick in. It's not going to find touch, but it pushes Featherstone a long way back. Bibb goes back, picks up virtually on his own line. Coming crossfield, caught by Bates. And that's a familiar line this half. And that indeed is half-time. Move Chris Bibb to stand off. As Derek Fox gets the game underway. To Steve Robinson. Robinson still going. Fine run from Steve Robinson. Continuing his run of good games. He's been having McAllister from acting half-back. Fights his way forward a few yards. So Harrison hangs on to him. Cogger, Neil Clawson with his first run. Ruane from acting half-back. Dummies, still stands up to Ian Bates. Bates goes backwards looking for a route forwards. Paul Round. Pushed down just in the opposition half. Mike Ford kicking for touch. And it just rolls away from the touchline. Steve Robinson comes up. Bell from acting half-back. Ball goes loose. Which ends up in Newlove's hands. Oldham players never got their hands on it. Well, they have now in the shape of Andy Ruane. Bates to Ford. Cogger, Duncan Platt up from fullback. Goes through men either side. And John Cogger's in for a hat-trick. Try made superbly by Duncan Platt. Racing up from fullback. Going through a gap, carrying the ball on. And finally, after 8 minutes play, turning the ball inside to John Cogger, who went for the line to push Oldham into a 26 to 8 points lead. And his hat-trick. Certainly a happier sounding than looking watershedding. Up Glenn Bell. Duncan Platt stabs at it and pushes it past the left. Fox ready to restart, and he does. Straight. Taken by Andy Ruane. Sorry, Sean Allen. Fights his way forward, takes a long time falling down. Ian Bates doing the running out. Sure, it's a case of size. Duncan Platt receiving treatment. Andy Ruane stands up in the tackle. I think it's better of it. Charlie McAllister from action halfback. Bastian slow to get shut. Mike Ford kicking for the left-hand touchline, but missing it by a... Referee penalises Andy Ruane for foot up. How you can differentiate between one foot and another, I'm not quite sure. Derek Fox spirals the ball to touch and bounces the ball off the stand. Derek Fox ready to take the tap. A splinter moves them to witnesses. Paul Hughes coming straight into the waiting arms of Andy Ruane. John Bastian for the line. Spins and Paul Round joins in as Duncan Platt wants his team to come more to his right. Fox to Smith. Smith to Banks. And Banks somehow carries the ball on his hip. He's on the left-hand side, and he hasn't got as close as Ian Smales has. Bouncing ball taken by winger Smales, who in turn is caught by Andy Ruane. And Sean Allen following up. Fox to Smith. Smith caught centre field by Round, and then forced back by, guess who? Ian Bates. I don't think a hooker was expecting that one. Does well with a man over. Newlove away from Keith Newton, chased by Paul Lord, and a covering Duncan Platt. And all Paul Lord can do is hope to keep him wide. But he never seemed to get close enough to pull off a tackle. Smales puts that one through the post. Ruane's there. Fox to Smith. Smith props, straightens up. Pass out in the tackle to Jeff Gratian. To Nigel Barker. Chris Bibb. Well caught by Steve Robinson. Barker. One-handed to Gratian. That's fifth tackle. John Coggers took a knock in there. Derek Fox kicking. Paul Lord forced to kick the ball over the dead ball. Drops out straight and low. Taken by Peter Smith, who straightens up. And a good tackle on the 25 by Ian Sherratt. Bastian. David and Goliath, and David hangs on. Jeff Gratian back to Fox. Fox on his knees. Pulled down 10 yards short. Gratian putting some strange angles on. Harrison out to Bastian. Bastian goes for the line, which I'm pretty sure was a wrong decision as he didn't make it. Oldham under intense pressure. Fox delayed pass to Harrison. Taken by Paul Round on fifth. Slid into each other. Last tackle. Smith. Out to Newlove. Back to Smith. Back to Fox. To Gratian. Gratian who kicks. And it goes, thankfully for Oldham, over the dead ball line. So it's a tap 25 to Oldham. Steve Robinson bringing it out. Robinson over the 10-yard line. John Cogger. All action as ever. Pull round. Breaks away from one. Links back to Keith Newton. Sorry, Duncan Platt, who's taken. Delayed pass from Andy Ruane. Ian Sherratt. And they're giving him back again. There's things to be said for lying on the floor and waiting. John Cogger from acting halfback. Fights his way into the 25. Reminiscent of a try that he set up on Wednesday for Leo Casey. Neil Clawson. Clawson to Duncan Platt. Platt's caught. Quickly to his feet. Ruane to Round. Round accelerates. Round accelerates. And Round's in. Paul Round in for his 9th try of the season. After 27 minutes of his second half. Fine run from Paul Round to make the score. Oldham 30. Featherstone 18. Only Charlie McAllister must be going to stand off. Duncan Platt left-footed. And again the wind stopped blowing and it went straight. Oldham 30. Featherstone 18 and ran about 12 minutes left to play. Fox kicks off low and hard. Bounces up beautifully for Paul Lord, who takes it on the run, comes over the 25. Where he's taken by Bastian and Clark. Oldham massive for the run. Ian Sherratt. Andy Ruane to John Cogger. Neil Clawson. Finally falls over Featherstone players rather than being tackled. Ruane from acting half. Dummies a kick. And the touch judge is in for something. There's Charlie McAllister and Steve Robinson closing for a look. Oldham will be thankful of a chance to make extra yards. Only 10 on the kick. Andy Ruane to take the tap to Ian Sherratt. Sherratt. Harrison and Smith wrestle him down. Clawson going straight. Just fails to escape from Harrison's clutches. Bates trying to shove Cogger wider. Newton. Newton! And Newton clean through for a superb try. Trevor Croston on the dummy run. Took players with him. Wide pass from Ian Bates, who'd run from open to blind. Keith Newton accelerating onto the ball for his second try of the game, his 4th of the season. So after 30 minutes, Oldham push it to 34-18. Duncan Platt, a flapper, and it goes past the right-hand post. As ever, the crowd see things officials don't. Steve Robinson. John Cogger. Charlie McAllister. Pull around. Round. Back to Charlie McAllister. Sean Allen. Allen trying to go between two. They close the gap on 5th tackle. Cogger. And it's Keith Newton again. Out to Andy Ruane. Ruane to Robinson. And Robinson's in at the corner. Again, fine running. Wide out on the left from Keith Newton. First time he scored the try himself. Second time. A run in for Steve Robinson. Scoring Oldham's 8th try of the game. Steve Robinson's 5th of the season. and we've still got about 4 minutes left to play. Left-footed, left touch line, high, and he's kicked it. Ian Sherratt on the first charge. No, Trevor Croston. Croston pulled down about 8 yards short. Ruane checks to Sherratt. I think John Cogger thought he was getting that, but Ian Sherratt came in between and thought otherwise. Cogger. Cries of get it out from the crowd. Oldham, I think, quite happy to play it up. Neil Clawson. And that indeed is the hooter. That indeed is full time. There's an injury